I recently facilitated a camp entitled Excellence Through Dedication. Excellence Through Dedication. And I tried to communicate what this statement means in the form of a picture. So try to see this picture, okay? At the top is being the hardest working person you know. So the top of this picture, this is what we need to aspire to, is to be the hardest working person that we know. Now, if you're tuned into excellence in that form, you're not looking around and comparing yourself that person works harder or that person works harder. You feel that you are the hardest working person, that you can't work harder. Now, to get to the top of this picture, a level below this is to be interested in your work. When I say interested, I mean if you're a parent, if you're a student, if you're a professional, if you're a volunteer, to be interested. If you're interested, you'll work hard. If you're disinterested, definitely we won't work hard. Now, to get to being interested, right below that is to envision what you're doing as your responsibility. If you treat your work as your responsibility, you will be more interested. But if you don't believe it's your responsibility, you will take less interest in that work. Everyone agree so far? Now, how do you get there? How do you start to envision your work as your responsibilities? It is to revolve around people who are responsible. When you revolve around people who are responsible, you see that it's possible to be a responsible person, to be interested in your responsibilities, and then you become the hardest working person you know. And all that is great in life is achieved by hard work. Swami Tejamananda often shares, there's no substitute for hard work. And it's interesting that we have to share such a message now because people have very backwards ideas of what life should be. The American dream is retire at, it used to be 50. Now it's 40. Soon it will come down to 30. It's to do as little as possible over the weekends, right? And delegate as much as possible and do as little as possible. Those are backwards ideas. Now, if you observe our experience together, aren't we climbing this ladder? The first way we do is we associate with people who are responsible. Every one of you, it is not mandatory or even legally you don't have to be where you are right now. But you know this is your responsibility and you're radiating that towards others. And the more that you're associating with responsible people, the more you understand your responsibilities. The more you understand your responsibilities, you start to take interest, you start to practice concentration. Dharma leads to dhyana. If you are a responsible person, you take interest, you start to concentrate on what you're doing. And if you concentrate on what you do, it leads to loving what you do. This is the trajectory for our Vedanta and Ramayana class is to love what you do, to love who you are. So now you should feel for yourself. Are you more responsible over the last 24 weeks? Are you concentrating more? Are you loving life more? These are for you to decide. We began Ayodhya Kanda last week with prayers, invocation prayers. Now I like that association, invocation prayers, because when you invoke, the message is it's already there. You're simply releasing that. You're sinking in to what's already present. And here's where we prayed to Bhagwan Shiva, to Bhagwan Rama, to even Sri Bharata, our invocation prayers. This camp that I was facilitating was in Buffalo. And at the end of the camp, one of the sevakas was talking about being part of the Guru Shishya Parampara. Many people have an intellectual relationship with the Guru Shishya Parampara. We say it's by the Guru's grace. We say that we have to keep this tradition alive. But what the sevaka was saying is, we need the physical presence of the Guru, of our Guru Shishya Parampara, to feel those blessings. And he made me think about that a lot. See, we can chant prayers continuously, but unless we have someone who makes those prayers real, we stay intellectual. And when someone makes all of this more real for us, they are blessing us then. And I think so clearly when I was living in the ashram, I went to the ashram calling Swami Tejomayana. That's Swamiji. He was someone who's studied and someone who speaks, and that was nothing else. But as I began to observe him, as I began to feel him, I realized that I can't call him Swamiji. He's a guru. He is someone who lives what he's speaking, what he's studied. That's what it means to be blessed, when someone makes all of this more real for us. After our prayers, we studied how Raja Dasharatha wanted Bhagwan Rama to become the next king. Rishi Vashishta wanted Bhagwan Rama to be the next king. In fact, it's shared even the citizens wanted Bhagwan Rama to become the Yuvaraj. So collectively, everyone wanted this. And if you take this subjectively, it's everyone, the citizens, the king, the guru, all of them wanted to make joy a greater priority in their lives. Bhagwan Rama being the king means joy is the highest priority, is the ruler in your life. And Goswamiji says, even Bhagwan Rama's enemies loved Bhagwan Rama. Even Bhagwan Rama's enemies were waiting for him to become the king. And that shows even people who are not tuned into Bhagwan, they outwardly, inwardly, they're still pursuing joy, isn't it? They kill for joy. They steal for joy. They hate for joy. They're just ignorant, but they're still pursuing that joy. We continue, and now we bring in a very interesting character. Interesting is just another word for someone that is not so positive, but you don't want to say that so openly. I hear sometimes a lot of Indian parents, they'll talk about their kids' friends and they'll say they're very interesting, which is a polite way of saying that they don't like them. So we bring in our next character, whom you all know. And, you know, in this Ayodhya Kanda, she's the game changer. She's the one who keeps the kata rolling. So in that case, we should at least have that level of respect for. I was going to say our mantra. I should say the mantra. She's not our mantra. She's the mantra. I'm on the 12th section of Chopais. That's 12. And I'm reading the Doha, which is on page 257. Namu Manthara Mandamati Cheri Kaike Keri Ajasa Pe Thari Tahi Kari Gai Gira Mati Peri. So now we have this Mandamati, this very slow-minded person named Manthara. And she's become the vessel for Mother Saraswati to do her work. So now I have to give you some history behind all of this. Remember last week when Raja Dasharatha approaches Rishi Vashishta and he says that, I think Bhagavan Rama should become the next king. This is what Rishi Vashishta says. Those very choice words. Sudina sumangalu tabi jaba ramu hohi jubaraju. So Raja Dasharatha says, we should wait for an auspicious day for Bhagavan Rama to become the king. What does Rishi Vashishta say? The day Bhagavan Rama becomes the king is an auspicious day. How carefully that's worded. Raja Dasharatha is focusing on the place and time. Rishi Vashishta is focusing on the person. So he says, the day he becomes the king will be auspicious. And that's already the foreshadowing that he's not going to become the king tomorrow. He already knows this. Now, even though Rishi Vashishta told this to Raja Dasharatha, he never understood the import of those words. Very much like the last 24 classes. As I'm speaking, everyone's smiling and nodding, but whether we understand the import of these words is different. So Raja Dasharatha, in his excitement, he went to all of the ministers and said, the citizens, me and Rishi Vashishta want Bhagavan Rama to become the king. What do you think? And all of those ministers said, King, you've read our mind. There's been no king like you. So they were in line too. So that was the Senate and the Congress, everyone had passed this bill, very unlike what's happening right now, for Bhagavan Rama to become the next king. Then Bhagavan Rama and all of the people in the kingdom are instructed by Rishi Vashishta to prepare for this coronation ceremony. And I really like this period of Ramayana where the citizens are cleaning their homes. The citizens are cleaning their city. The citizens are cleaning their personalities also. They're all told to practice tapas. You have to sleep on the floor. You can't eat these foods. He's becoming the king, but they're preparing for him. Bhagavan Rama is told the same, that you should get up early, that you shouldn't speak during these periods of time. So everyone is practicing discipline in preparation for this celebration. Now, as this message is spreading that Bhagavan Rama is going to be the next king, Bhagavan Rama feels very sad. Why does he feel sad? Who's not there right now? Bharata is not there. Sri Bharata and Shatrughna have gone to their grandparents' home. Kaikeyi's parents, they've gone there. Kaikeyi's parents had missed Sri Bharata and Sri Shatrughna, so they asked them to come visit. So they were there, and Bhagavan Rama was feeling very sad that, all of this celebration is happening, but my Bharata is not there. My brother is not there. And if you think about this deeply, is it a coincidence that Sri Bharata wasn't there? That his grandfather happened to ask him to come visit? And we still believe that there's free will. So Bhagavan Rama is feeling sad in all of this. And you know who's feeling the most sad? The Devatas. The Devatas are feeling the most sad because if Bhagavan Rama becomes the king, he's not going to leave Ayodhya. And Ravana is not going to come to Ayodhya. He's going to continue to conquer all of the places outside of Ayodhya. So the Devatas are going to continue to suffer. It's shared in Ramayana that the Devatas are being treated like servants by Ravana. You know who Vayu is? Vayu is the one who sweeps the streets in Lanka. You know who Indra is? The security guard. Indra, the chief of gods, is made as the security guard. Lord Brahma, the creator of our multiverse, is being bossed around by Ravana's servants. Lord Brahma tries to speak, and those servants say, wait, I'm busy. So these Devatas, they're the most sad. So they have to pull Bhagavan Rama out of Ayodhya. So how to do it? They know they can't do it. So they approach Mother Saraswati. That we're too small to make this prayer. So can you please find a person in Ayodhya who will encourage this thought for Lord Rama to leave Ayodhya. So that's where I had left to all of us, saying that Mother Saraswati had found her receptacle, her vessel, that is mantra, and now she's gone back to do her work. Okay, so that's some of the Katha. Now some of the Vedanta. Raja Dasharatha is focusing on space, time, and matter. Rishi Vashishta is focusing on the mind. And I've shared that with all of you so many times. What do we do with sadhana? Sadhana should be related to space. You can only do sadhana in a room in your home. Space, time, only in the morning. And matter only with your asana. Only with your murti. And if those matters aren't in place, then don't do sadhana. So when you're on vacation, don't do sadhana. When you're traveling, don't do sadhana. When someone is sleeping in that puja room, don't do sadhana. But Rishi Vashishta is saying, no. It's about the person. So now we get very focused on Vastu, correct? We have to buy a home that's facing in this direction. This room has to be like this. We have to wait for Bhagavan Rama's Jayanti to begin any change in our lives. We will go on waiting forever, trying to be happy tomorrow. But Rishi Vashishta is saying, it depends on you. For you to take responsibility for your life. Then, I had highlighted how the citizens and Bhagavan Rama are engaged in tapas, in discipline, to prepare for the celebration. And the Vedanta part of that is responsibilities are not meant for pleasure. Not meant for pleasure. You see many people, when they take up positions of responsibility, they become bossy. Do this for me, do that for me. But we've learned this in Spider-Man. Greater the power, the greater the responsibility, right? The greater the power, the greater the responsibility. They copied that from Ramayana. The more responsible you are, the less you can take the path of Preya, which is the path of pleasure, the more you have to take the path of Shreya, the path of peace. Have you seen pictures of President Obama now? He's the happiest person that I've ever seen physically. You see during those 8 years that he couldn't have a moment of irresponsibility. And I feel he did a fine job, which is why he's now enjoying. You know, I've done my hard work. So, for us, there can be no casual mentality towards our responsibilities. Can you be casual towards an infant? Can you even be casual towards a teenager? You can't. And now, bringing in the Devatas. You see, the Devatas and their prayers to Mother Saraswati, those Devatas are incidental. We are incidental. The Jaya and Vijaya coming down as Ravana and Kumbhakarna is incidental. All of this is Bhagwan's Leela. We think that the Devatas, it's because of their prayers that Bhagwan Rama left Ayodhya. That's just an incident. This is all understood by Bhagwan, and he's playing this out the way it's supposed to be. Sri Bharata not being there, them praying to Mother Saraswati and she agreeing to do all of this. Think. And if you realize that this is Bhagwan's Leela, we surrender more. We treat all as prasad. We just are happier that way. So that's some of the Vedanta part. Now we'll study in brief one more, Chaupai. What did this mantra do? So now we get to a significant point of Ayodhya Kanda. And I'm going to chant for you a famous line from Ayodhya Kanda. And I think you know this line. What is the Raghukula known for? I'm on the 28th section of Chaupais. I'm reading verse 2, line 2. Okay, 28th section of Chaupais. And that is verse 2, line 2 on page 267. Raghukula Riti Sadachali. No, this is new to all of you? Okay, yes. Prana Jahu Baru Bachanuna Jai. I'll say it again. Famous line. People love to quote this like they live like that. Raghukula Riti Sadachali Ai Prana Jahu Baru Bachanuna Jai. Which means that in the Raghukula, in the lineage of the solar dynasty, one's breath will be given up before one's word is given up. That one will die before they break a promise. That's what's being shared here. This is where Raja Dasharatha is living by this. And Lord Rama is trying to support that. So what has been asked of them, we'll tune into that. Okay. Manthara. Manthara means manthar. Manthar means the one who moves very slow. Manthar. And that's externalized because she has a cane and she has a humpback. That she moves very slow, but I'll explain the Vedanta part shortly. Manthara came with Kaikeyi to Ayodhya. She was Kaikeyi's maid. So even when Kaikeyi lived with her family, Manthara has known her since she was a child. So when Kaikeyi moved to Ayodhya, then Manthara came with her. So they had that closeness. Manthara could say what she wants. Kaikeyi could say what she wants. So these devatas were praying to Mother Saraswati to find someone in Ayodhya who will stop this coronation ceremony from happening. So Mother Saraswati disguised herself as a citizen of Ayodhya, and she started going from home to business to the king's palaces to find someone who could be spoiled, someone whose mind she could change. And everyone she met was devoted to Bhagwan Rama, including Kaikeyi. She couldn't spoil Kaikeyi's mind. But this Manthara was that hole in the armor, the weakness in the shield. She found Manthara, and she spoiled Manthara's mind that she will suffer if Bhagwan Rama becomes the king. See, right now, all the queens are treated equal. But when Bhagwan Rama becomes the king, then Kaushalya will become the lead queen, which means everyone part of Kaushalya's retinue will also become the lead, which means Manthara falls lower. So Mother Saraswati was able to plant this seed in Manthara's mind. Then like a rotten apple, what does it do to the rest of the apples? continues spoiling. So Mantra then goes to Keikei and starts crying, saying, what's going to happen to you? She doesn't say about her. She says, what's going to happen to you? That all of these celebrations are happening, and here you are. You don't know what's going on. They've planned this 15 days ago. When did they plan this? That day itself. But she said 15 days ago. That's like your kids coming to you saying, all of the kids are doing it. One kid is doing it. Correct? Mantra. So she goes on crying and saying, they're all deceiving you. She says that Lord Rama's planning to put Sri Bharata in prison. That's the extent of the gossip mongering that's going on. And during all of this, Keikei doesn't believe it. Keikei says, what are you talking about? I'm going to have your tongue pulled out. That Rama loves me as much as he loves Kaushalya. But see, the history between Mantra and Keikei, they were so close that after Keikei said this to Mantra, she felt very bad and said, tell me again what you heard. And the second time around is when she got fully convinced of what Mantra was saying. The first time she was not convinced. But when she asked again, then she got convinced that this is all true. So Mantra deceives Keikei and tells Keikei the only way to stop Lord Rama from becoming the king, you remember those 2 boons that Raja Dasharatha owes you. How many of you have never heard of these 2 boons that are owed? Like, this is new to you. Okay. So I'll tell you a little bit about where these boons came from. There's 2 stories, actually. One is shared in Valmiki Ramayana, one is shared in Adhyatma Ramayana. Who wrote Adhyatma Ramayana? Veda Vyasa. See how grand he is? He wrote Mahabharata and he wrote a Ramayana also, and Bhagavatam, and so much more. So in Valmikiji's Ramayana, what happens is that Raja Dasharatha was in battle and he got hit and fell unconscious. And Keikei, she's a warrior princess. So she saw this, that he was fallen in battle. So she quickly got onto that chariot and steered that chariot away. And when Raja Dasharatha came conscious again, he was still pseudo-conscious and unconscious. And he told her, for saving my life, I will grant you 2 boons. And at that time she said, I'll reserve those boons. Now think, if you're in a semi-conscious state, should you make any promises? If you get drunk and get married, that doesn't count as a marriage, correct? The law won't recognize that. Now you think of Keikei. If someone asks you, what can I do for you? Or can I do something for you? You don't say, I'll keep that IOU with me, right? You say, I don't need anything, I'm happy, correct? But Keikei didn't say that. Now, if you study Adhyatma Ramayana, they share in more detail, and this is a little bit more gruesome. The axle on Raja Dasharatha's chariot was breaking. And so those wheels were going to become unhinged. So Keikei jumped onto that chariot and she put her hands, her arms in that axle to keep those wheels intact. And then Raja Dasharatha won that battle and he saw Keikei and the sacrifice she made. So he said, for each of those wheels that you preserved, I will grant you 1 boon. So now Keikei is reminded of those boons and Mantra tells her, what is the first boon that you have to ask? What's the first boon? The first boon is not for Bhagwan Rama to go to the forest. The first boon is for Bharata to become king. Why? Bhagwan Rama wanted that anyways. And the order is very important, okay? I'm shifting to the Vedanta part. If the first boon was Bhagwan Rama should go to the forest, what would have happened to Dasharatha? He would have fainted or died. So the second boon can't be asked then, correct? See that level of deceit, that this is the order in which you should ask the boons. First you ask for Bharata to become king. And he'll still be okay with that. But she already knows the second wound will kill him. She saved his life, but now she's just taking it back. So I wanted you to be aware of the sequence of the wounds. Okay. Now let's go back a little bit. Why does Mother Saraswati agree to polluting the mind of Manthara? This is Mother Saraswati. She's Vak Devi, Vani Devi, Vidya Devi. Anyone who plays a veena can't be a bad person, correct? Mother Saraswati, she's a long path thinker. She knows that if she is able to pull Bhagavan Rama out of Ayodhya, people in the present and future will remember him much more. As long as he stays in Ayodhya, the story's over, right? Ekta Raja, Ekti Rani, Dono Marge, Katam Kahani, right? There's nothing more to say about that. But she got Bhagavan Rama out of Ayodhya. They got to meet so many people in the forest. And now we're studying Ramayana, correct? If he never left Ayodhya, would we have studied Ramayana? So Mother Saraswati was happy that millions and billions and trillions would remember this katha. So she said, I'll do it. She was ready to take on that negativity to create more positivity. Now Manthara. What did I say Manthara means? Very slow. And we always look at her externally, but Manthara never gave up. Even after Kaikeyi chided her, she still went back and tried again and tried again and tried again. Slow and steady wins the race. Copied from Ramayana. See, we've understood it in the negative, but we have to practice this in the positive. Hasten slowly. We all want to be more patient, but we're impatient trying to be patient. But we have to be slow. We have to be steady, like Manthara. She achieved her aspiration, no? And if it works for the negative, it must work for the positive. Then we come to the idea of who Kaikeyi is surrounding herself with. Now she left Kaikeyi and came to Ayodhya, Kaikeyi Desha, and who did she bring? Manthara. If you had a negative friend in high school, do you want to room with them in university? No. We have to be careful of what we're inputting into our personality. We have to be careful of the habits that we're developing. Kaikeyi was never careful about that. And what Swami Tejomayananda said about this, only bad people can be spoiled by bad people. Isn't it? A good person cannot be spoiled by a bad person. An apple with a ton of preservatives cannot be spoiled by a rotten apple. So if satsanga is your core, it doesn't matter how much dussanga you're in, you will still not succumb to that dussanga. So Manthara got more spoiled. She was already spoiled. Kaikeyi already had that trace of negativity, so all of that is capitalized. Which is why I said we have to be careful. We have much more negativity that can erupt if we're not careful. I also highlighted to all of you that Kaikeyi asked Manthara to clarify what she meant, to elaborate on this negativity. If someone speaks poorly of another person, don't ask, what did you mean by that? You heard it, but don't listen to it again. And she's speaking about Raja Dasharatha. This is her husband. Bhagavan Rama, her own son. There's no loyalty that is shown here. And the final Vedantic part I wanted to bring up is, when Raja Dasharatha goes to meet Kaikeyi, okay, Manthara has already told her that when Raja Dasharatha comes to you. Now, why is Raja Dasharatha going to come to Kaikeyi? Because he's lusty. Kaikeyi is the youngest queen, the most attractive queen. Tomorrow his son is going to become the king. He should be sleeping early. He should be preparing. But he always comes back to KK. And Mantra knew that also. So she told him, dress like a widow. So KK dressed like a widow, you know? And where did she go? It's called Kopa Bhavana. They used to have an angry room in the house. That if you're angry, that's where you go. So when Raja Dasharatha came, she wasn't in her bedroom, she was in the Kopa Bhavana. Now what Swami Tejamananda said, now in our homes, every room is Kopa Bhavana. We fight in every room, including the bathroom, correct? But back in the day, families, if you're going to fight, you fight here. Out of sight, out of mind for kids and others, correct? Now, the more public the fight, the more you care. So she's dressed like a widow in Kopa Bhavana. And when Raja Dasharatha saw her, it looked like she was hypnotized. Today I was thinking of the movie Aladdin. I think Jafar hypnotizes Aladdin at one point, or he hypnotizes someone. So when I was reading this, I was thinking about Mantra hypnotizing KK and her being like that. And then she asked these boons with no sensitivity. And Raja Dasharatha immediately collapsed. And all that was coming out of his mouth was Ram. Ram. He was alive, but he was also dead. Which is why it says Raghukula Riti, that he will hold his word before his breath. So when those boons were asked, he already knew that. Remember Yamaduta? The Raja Dasharatha came very fast. In less than 12 hours, if I can measure this, he went from Yama's trying to teach me to Yama's now taking me. It's a very sad part of Ramayana. And there's more. This is just the beginning of this drama. We haven't even gotten to the content of the drama, which is why we prayed. We prayed last week to prepare us for this week and the upcoming weeks. Oh.